Right, you're live.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the shop. We're doing pineapple block today, but before we start, I want to show you something that I came across on the shelf. I was looking for something else, came across on the shelf and thought, I don't know whether you've seen this one. So this is the Bloom with Grace. It's by 3 Wishes. I have no idea who does it. Sarah will be able to tell you the company, but I just thought it was just so pretty. I mean, look at this with the seagulls on it, and some boats. Now I know a lot of you are out there are into boats, but if you have a look at the panel in front, I can show you. That's the panel that comes with it, and it would just make such a beautiful landscapey type of quilt. I mean, it's a quilt waiting to happen, really. So if you were to cut 2.5 inch strips or 3 inch strips and then just border and then border again, we have got a pattern somewhere which gives you a borders with cornerstones. We can find that for you, but it's a beautiful one. I mean, we've got one going up on Hochanda with trees on it, but you know, this, I just thought you might like to see it because it's so pretty, and think of it, make a lovely little dress, little girl, this one, or even one of the pinks. So pineapple blocks. Now I've been looking at pineapple blocks. Now the traditional way to do it is with foundation piecing, but it's something, foundation piecing is something that I've not got into. I have a lot to do. Sarah does foundation piecing, so I've left it with her. Okay, so I've looked at different ones. Now I've done 3 different ones. Okay, I had this one which came free with one of the magazines. Now you'd have thought I'd have looked up which magazine it was. Media Company. And it came free on the front of the magazine, and you had these templates. So a 4-inch block, and this makes an 8-inch block. Can you imagine how long that's going to take you to get a quilt out of a 4-inch block? But there are some strange people out there that collect 2.5-inch squares and make half square triangles. So what I did was I made this one, which is an 8-inch block. See how pretty it is? I liked it because it was very precise, but it was quite small, and because you're using a template, it just got that it was quite difficult. So if you've got these, you might have these sitting at home, but you don't have the magazine anymore. You can get the instructions off the internet. Now let me see if I can work out which, because I got page 1. It's from Love Patchwork and Quilting. See, you've only got to read it, and it comes with full instructions. It's very clever. Alright, so with this one, going back, because you can also, on the internet, you can also print off these, which are colouring pages. So if you wanted to get a particular colour out of it, you could just colour in all of these, and you could work out your quilt before you even start. With this one, I was trying to get it so that that line, if you put them all together, that line would have been a different colour. I ran out of the thing, but I did that on purpose. I had gold and then I went into the white. So that's quite an interesting thing. Colouring is good for mindfulness anyway, and there's a couple of you out there that could do with some mindfulness. Okay, so you would take your templates for this. How is everybody? Sorry, I go off on this tangent, and I'm so focused on I've got to do this, I forget to ask how you are. How is everybody?
Everyone's saying hello. So we got Jan, we got Sheila, we got Linda, we got Meg, Sean, Suzanne, Christine, Catherine, sorry, Heather, and Davis. Those people.
Hi everybody. I'm not going to go back through and things. So there's a special hi to Erin and Elsie if you're watching, because Meg's there. Right, what am I doing? Who am I doing it with? So you're going to pick out, I mean, most of the pineapple blocks, they give you a range of this between 1 3/4 and 2-inch blocks, strips that you start with. I think this one is on a 1.5-inch strip, which I have here. I think that's right. Yes. So you could, most of them start with a 2.5-inch square. Okay. Then you have another 2.5-inch square of your other colour, which you then place on here. So we'll do this bit first, okay? And then we can get that. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you're going to place your 2.5-inch your triangle onto right sides together. Okay, on there. Sorry, Drew, flipping it around. Okay, and we're going to put this. Oh, I think got quite warm on there. Put this onto a 1/4-inch foot. And we're going to cut that. Now, you could, if you follow you've got to see where you put your point. There's a whole point to this. Okay, so you sew down there. Now if you were doing a lot, if you actually worked out and you were going to do a quilt, you could chain piece this. Okay, so you're gonna put the other side so that it flips over it, and we're going to flip that out now in a minute. Okay, so you're going to, what Sarah say, set the seam and roll it out. There, like that. So what you all been up to? Yeah, I have done them right sides out. It's very difficult to see with this spot, but there was just a little bit left on the end of the bolt. So now you're going to take off, see your little dog ears? Trim those off. Turn and trim them off on the other side. Now all of the 3 methods that I did started off this way. Okay. So I'm just showing you this, but we're going to do one of them all the way through, but all of them started off this way. Okay.
Mara, sorry, where did you get the templates from?
Right, that template, I got it off Love Patchwork and Quilting. It was one of the freebies, but I have other methods. If you hang on to that, and I'll there we go.
Susan asked, how big are the triangles?
Right, the first 2 that you put on come off a 2.5-inch square. Cut at 2 3/4, but the amount that I cut off, you could probably just do another 2.5-inch square, because when you cut it in the diagonal, it's slightly longer than your edge. but I cut it at 2 3/4.
And then Mum asks, does it matter which way you press it out?
No, I don't think so. I've always pressed out. If you look at the back of mine, I've pressed all mine the same way. It always goes out. So it'll lay flatter that way, I'm guessing. Yes, if you were to fold it in that way, press out towards the outside. Look, I made a decision. Right, now we're going to, because it's a little bit bigger, I'm going to line that up, and I'm using these instead of anything else because they're the right size at the moment. Look, new mats there. So I'm gonna line these up and just trim them off a little bit. Now I'm trimming off the dog ears. Right, go back a few steps. When I was talking to Sarah the other day about the fact that some of my squares were a little bit like that. We think that if you start your fabric really well before you cut them, you're going to get a better line, a better square. So that's what I did with this one. So it seems to be a lot squarer than the ones that I've been doing, because I starched the hell out of this before I started. So you're going to now square it up. Now it's going to work. Should have worked all this out. I think that's probably, you've got to make sure that you're within, it's going to be a 3.5 inch square. Okay, so I've lined my 1 3/4 up with my points. Yeah, 1 3/4. See, I've lined it up with my points there. Cool. Look, looks as if I know what I'm talking about. And then we go into 3.5, I said, wasn't it? There you go. There we go. So there we are. We start with a beautiful square. Okay. Now with these, what they call templates, on them, you can see on this that you've got a line here, and it says you've got to cut 4 for your inside triangles. So for this, if you're going to do it with the templates that you might have somewhere, it already tells you just cut your inside triangle that size, okay? And then the whole outside triangle is this bit here, okay? So your inside triangle is here. So that one you're going to use at the end. This is the one that you're going to use to cut out all your pieces to make all the lines on this particular pattern. Okay, and what you're going to do, your first, where are we? Round 1, you're going to line it up with the top there and cut out. So round 1 and 2, you're going to cut it out, aligning the top of your trapezoid. Is there a trapezoid? With the top of your 1.5 inch, and then your third and fourth rounds, you're going to line it up like that. Now you can see how complicated that, I mean, it gives you really crisp lines. it because it gave you a crisp, definite things to work with. Okay, and that's that. I'm not going to go any further with this one because that is, I wanted to find one that was easier than that. This is, well, bear with me, okay? This one here I made, which you can see comes out bigger because you make it as big as you want, this one. No, you don't. Make mine as big as you want, right? So this one uses the tool. Can't get it out of the bag. Now this is the pineapple trim tool. I think I bought this from the company that should not be mentioned, or one of them, Amazon. And this one gives you, it's got a nice little booklet that shows you how to do it. Okay, so there's a good booklet in. It was very good, but this is the one where my square wasn't quite square in the middle to begin with, and you have to line this up for cutting. Okay, so this one was round 8. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you lined up round 8. So you lined up your square. Okay. And then you were cutting. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the blue one. That's right. You sew it on and then you're cutting off so that the blue one, can you see where I would have cut off? I would have lent it up here and I'm trimming off at that edge. I'm not doing this very well. I'm not explaining this very well. That is the next one. So you would start off with your round 1. So you're going to find your I can do this. Okay. So you would sew your next round on, okay? Because I can do this with both. So is anybody there? Have they given me any tips yet?
Caroline said it's a trapezium. A trapezoid is a 3D shape.
So it's what?
A trapezium.
Trapezium. Okay. Okay, so you're going to put your 2 on either side, like this, and then we're going to iron them out like we did before. I'm using a quarter inch seam. Okay, so we're going to iron that out like this. So did anybody come back with what they were going to do for the weekend? No? Anybody got sewing that they're doing? I've got journal cover tomorrow, so we'll be doing a journal cover in my own way. You know, we'll be getting it all wrong again tomorrow. So I should be doing that one at home, I think. We've had more fabric in today. We've got Christmas is starting now. It's starting to trickle in. Some advent calendars which will be going up on the website at some point next week. So you can all get started for Christmas. I can't believe Christmas is just around the corner. You know, before we know it, it'll be here. Ugh, look at that. It's not going to fit. I pinched these scraps off Jane yesterday. She dropped some scraps off at the shop. Right, this is I haven't got any of that green left, so we're going to go with another green. Should have gone with another colour. Okay. And so, okay. So we're going to put this together like this. And I'll show you how you would cut it with that. Now I couldn't do it with the other one because it's the templates are definite sizes. So with this one you're cutting off the sizes. You're just sewing it and then trimming it down so that it makes the size that you're looking for. Right, so we've done round 2. Okay, so on here you find round 2. Okay, so this is round 2 here. Okay, so you're going to line that up on the square, and what you're going to do is you're going to trim off. You can see that the square purple bit, and it's asking me to trim here, which gives you your 1/4 inch. So when you've trimmed it off, can you see you've got your 1/4 inch? So when you sew 1/4 inch onto the next one, your points, it gives you that a better point. There's a point to it again. Oh, wrong one. So this tool here is very good. It shows you exactly where to line everything up. If you lost the instructions, you could probably do it with the instructions that are on the tool. The one that I got, right, I think, sorry?
Wrong cube.
Wrong cube. Oh, see? Everybody needs a Drew. Okay, so we're going to trim that one off.
But there's only one of me.
Yeah, we could clone you. Right, you can see now that your square is not quite square. Okay, so you would then sew on here, you would sew this one. Okay, and you do that all the way round.
And then it says, do we actually need the ruler?
No, you don't need the ruler. I'm going to show you now how you do it just using your rulers that you all have at home. Okay, I bought this because I thought I was going to need this, but what this does is exactly what you can do with your own ruler. Okay, so this is one, so you can see that they aren't very much different. This is the one that I did with the special tool. This is the one I've done with my own ruler. Okay, so going on from here, this one, I got this one on the internet. It's Crazy Mum Quilts, and it's how to block without paper piecing, and it is a complete picture. You can see it from the pictures. It's a very good one. I couldn't do it any better, so I left it as it is. I'll put the link up for it. She's going to wonder what's going on with everybody asking for it. Right, so then you would just sew the next bit on. So we're going to keep going. Any more questions there?
Let's see. Nicola asked you, out of the otter fabric on your pressing mat, do you have any in stock?
No, we don't anymore. That's last year's or the year before. We have got some coming in, which is small pets, which is going to have dogs and cats on it. That's due in soonish. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We have asked for it quickly. So once that comes in, we will give you a heads up on that. But yeah, this is a Lewis and Irene fabric. We had otters. I do have an otter fabric, but bigger otters.
Catherine asked what size are the blocks?
What size are these blocks? The one that I'm doing now, put that one back to front. The one I'm doing now, you can make up to a 12. Using the tool, the pineapple tool, I think it goes up to a 10. Used just 1.5 inch strips, but you can use any size strip, and you don't have to keep to the same size, but you need to have the same size strip on each round. So if you wanted to make your white rounds or your pale rounds thinner, you would just make, but as long as it's the same on the whole round. Okay.
Linda asked what's the name of the special ruler?
It is called the non-slip pineapple trim tool. I would imagine Creative Grids would do one. I think this is just, I went on Amazon and put pineapple tool and just went with it. I probably went with the cheapest, knowing me. Okay, so we're going to line this last one up now, and then we'll press it out. Right, they don't have to meet on the way round. That one did, but because you can remember where we had the edges were cut off on the corners. You're going to find that you've got that edge cut off there. This one here. So you're meeting here, and so they don't actually cross over. So we're going to pull this one out now. And we're going to use our tool. So I'm using the one that we have in the shop, the So Easy ruler with your inches on. And you're just going to line up with your last piece that you put down. So I'm lining up with the green. It was a 2.5, so we've got, no it wasn't, it was a 1.5. So you've used a 1/4 inch in your seam allowance there, so it's now 1.25. So you're going to line up your 1.25 line along here, as you can see, and you're going to trim it off. So at this point you wonder whether you're doing the right thing, but there you go. Okay, so you're going to trim it off. So you're going to line up your 1.25. Yeah. So you're basically lining it up with this, you know, the edge that you can see the little bit in the middle. So can you see that we're doing exactly the same thing that the pineapple tool, and the templates did, and it just builds from there. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do the yellow one. Look, I'm not even going in a rainbow one, just picking colours here. Okay, so again now, because you're not meeting at the end, you don't have to have the two fabrics cross over at the end. You can push that one out the way and just keep going round and round. You don't have to do opposites. You can just go around in a circle or a square. Since it's not a square, it's not a circle. Okay, so we're just sewing these on like this, going round. Now you will have worked out what pattern you want to do. I mean, I'm just doing the same colour all the way round because it means that I don't have to think about it, and you know I can't think and do. So
May I ask what? Does it matter what size you start with?
what size what? The square?
Side. Which side?
Oh, which side? No, it doesn't matter which side you start with. You can just pick a side and then work your way around. I mean, it's easier for ironing if you do one side and then the opposite, iron it out, which we're probably about to find out anyway. It's a lot easier to iron it out that way.
Sandra asked, what size is your centre square?
I started with a 2.5 inch square. All of the patterns, all the patterns that I did, they all suggested a 2.5 inch square. I would imagine that you could start with any size square. So we're now ironing these out. I quite like this block. I think I would do a whole quilt in this block. I'd be quite happy with it. So again, we're going to line up your 1.25 inches. I keep picking those up. I don't know why I keep picking those up. Your 1.25 inch, and you're going to cut off where your bits are not joined. That's where you're cutting. So you're just going to cut here. Oh, you didn't tell me I was in the wrong place, did you? Good job it was. There we go. Right, I'm on 1.25. Now I must have done a scant 1/4 inch on this one because it's sticking over a little bit there, but we're just gonna take the end off. So 1.25. I'm gonna slice it off there, and it just is that simple. You just keep building. Now my I did the Liberty one. Is a fly. I managed to catch a fly, hit a fly with a pencil the other day. How ninja is that? It was there. I just hit it with a pencil and I got it. See, Mr. Miyagi, that's who I am. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Okay, so we're back now. One that you would do is a white round. Are there any questions while I'm sewing this next one round? Because it really is as repetitive as that.
No questions at all.
No questions? So are you going to try it? And put this one into your isolation block? It's I think it's a nice one. I'd like to make one with a different pattern. I'd like to make it have a particular pattern, you know, rather than just going round in circles. I'd like to do it so that it branches out, maybe a red circle in the middle, you know, do your first block all in red and then work your way out. There's my rainbow. And I could do it in batiks, which would make me very happy. So I shall put that on the list of quilts to make. That's why I keep picking up the scissors, because I keep using them for this bit. Right. The white fabric that I'm using is a a small dot, which gives you, it's a white on white dot. One of the essentials, and some of the fabric I'm using is spray ties.
The internet keeps going. They're back now.
Have we kept plopping out? Are we?
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. Should work off data. Maybe you should tether it to my phone.
It's alright, I think I just turned my Wi-Fi off.
Oh. So was there anything else that you wanted to look at while I'm in the shop? You know, take this opportunity. Was there any fabrics or anything that you wanted to look at? Because we don't often do this in the shop, so you have this grand opportunity. I'd have to move a couple of boxes out the way for Drew if you want him to walk around mine. All the deliveries have just stayed in the boxes. There's still a few left on the raffle. If you want to get in on our £200 raffle, it's a £5 for a ticket. You go on the website and buy it. It's dogs this time. I've not looked at what dogs that they're giving you. So we're back to finding your 1 1/4 and chopping off. I think the next round I'd need a bigger ruler. So you would go round.
Linda Thompson says, can you do this by hand?
Yes, I don't see why not. And I really don't see why not. You do your Manx by hand, as long as you keep your stitches fine and you're folding back. I mean, you could do this. Sarah, could you do this Manx ways? Do it in the same way, where you sew it and then fold it back with a bit of a lip. You might be able to do that. So you can see that this is now building the same way as this. Now, if I'd have wanted it a bigger, I mean, you could probably do a whole quilt using this method. By the time you get to here, I stopped because we were doing 12-inch blocks. This needs a little bit trimmed off. You could work out, I think my grey ones, I didn't cut them all the same size. So if you had them all the same size, you could work out then how many you needed, how many rows you needed to make your 12-inch block. This will need trimming slightly, but it's not going to make any difference to your finished block. And I've got my square, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 rows there, and then my corners. So I'll show you how I did the corners on this one. Got to work out now where the corner's going to go. Okay, let's have a blue one. Whoever was ringing, I'm sorry I didn't answer that. Okay. Don't they know it's 1 o'clock?
Maren asked, do you have any elastic for masks in stock?
Yes, we have some blue elastic. No, we haven't got the blue. I'm looking at blue fabric. I'd be no good at that game. You know that game where they show you a colour and a word, so they show you a red colour and blue word. I'd never be able to do that. We have a pink and a lilac and a black in like hair elastic. You know, the thin round elastic. We also have white in a 1/4 inch. We don't have black in a 1/4 inch. Okay. Right. So I measured this up against on a square, just on my square. It can't be very square. It doesn't meet. Okay. Now I can see that I need a 3 1/4 inch triangle in there, but I need my 1/4 inch. So I'm going to cut a 3.5 inch square. Alright, so I'm going to line, this isn't very straight, is it? So I'm going to cut that there. Now all I can hear is Sarah going, no, don't do it that way. Okay, so we do it so that it's going away from me. Never cut towards you. Okay, so I'll cut like that. So I have my square, and because it wasn't square on the edges, I'm just going to trim it up here. Now.
I think the gimbal's out of battery.
Oh no.
I've got to charge it from yesterday.
Right. Okay. Scrap that. I think that's what I did at home, and it didn't fit. Oh, it does fit, look. Oh, it does fit. There we are. 3.5. Right, so we're going to cut that in half to give you triangles. Okay. Now I forget that this now is longer. So this now measures, corner to corner, measures 5 inches. Which is going to fit there. Now, when you do it like that, it doesn't look as if it's going to be a square. But if you look at this as being your top, and that's going to go there, that would be your square, wouldn't it? Okay, so we're going to just sew these on so that you can see. Now I've lined my point up with the point of my middle square. I'm just going to sew this. You could fold all your pieces in half to find your half. But we're winging this and then pin it. So we're going to wing this. Okay. This is where you think, has it worked? No, we're going to need to do that bigger. I've forgotten the 1/4 inch on the side. I think with mine I made them a lot bigger and then cut them down. So I forgot the extra 1/4 inch that you're going to need on the side. So you either trim that down or you cut a bigger square. For the purposes of this is what we're going to do. Now I can't tell you the exact size of the square that you're going to need, but you are going to need to add on 1/2 inch. Okay, I added on 1/4 inch for my seam, but I didn't think about when you flip it, you need the extra 1/4 inch on either side. So I'd have to do the maths. Make it bigger, cut it down. So as you can see, that there will then be your square. Can you see how it goes? Now I could make the whole 12.5 inch, but then or 12 inch, but you're going to then have to sit there and listen to me just sew round and round. So any questions?
Linda says, have you got a new cutting mat?
Oh yes, new cutting mat. Just no cutting. I'm not cutting any fabric for anybody now, okay? Because otherwise it's you're going to mark my mat. So, any more questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, hopefully some of that made sense. I'll put up the links for the tools that we've used, and the links for Crazy Quilty Mum, was she? I think that's what she was called. I've lost her now. So we'll, oh there she is, Crazy Mum Quilts. She's got some nice stuff on her site as well. So hopefully I've not made too much of a hash of that and you'll want to go and do it. If you do, post and we will come up with a challenge post. Okay? So we'll pull that on.
Oh, because right, there's for some reason not getting any questions. See fabricated wool and dandelion fabric.
The what?
People want to see fabricated wool. Fabricated. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Or dandelion fabric.
Dandelion fabric.
If there is any.
No, I've got daffodil fabric, but no dandelion.
Am I reading that wrong? Yeah, daffodil.
Daffodil.
If you got daffodil.
Okay. Right. You come in with me. Come from by there to by here.
I think the internet cut out.
Okay.
I think it was when the internet cut out.
Oh, I see. Right, so we've got these two daffodil fabrics here. So that's the daffodil. So we have daffodil yellow in a spray time. What other wool was it? Was there wool?
1 second, I'll try and find it. Variegated wool.
Variegated wool. Come this way.
I don't know what I said.
Right, we're a little low on variegated, but we've got these crinkle wools which come out like that. They're so soft. Feel that, Drew. Feel how soft that is.
I
No,
can't feel that.
he hasn't got a hand. We have these here, the Cherish. Now we've gone mostly boy now. Can you see how it comes out? That's the pattern that this wool comes out just by knitting it. So we have 2 blues and then a blue, red and grey and white, which comes out like that if you do a rib. There's a nice pattern for that. But we're very low on these now. I've got 1 each of those. And these are the Cherish. So you've got rhubarb and aquamarine. So there's only 1 each of those. And then these are the coordinating ones. Other variegated. Look at those with sparkles on them. So these are Twinkle. They're Twinkle Baby Prints. So it's my favourite. They just come in shades. I think Alex has put those on the website. Anything else?
The swirls.
Swirls. Batik swirls. We have those. Now we don't have a lot of these. Okay. There's only like 1 or 2 of each of the colours. I think those are our colours. When there's a ready one. I'm running out of arms now. Is that one? Okay. These are £9.95. No, they're £8. I think £8 on the website. They're on the website. But if you don't mind waiting, you can always put in an order. Ask us to stick it on the next order. But we've just had Starcraft in, so it won't be for a while yet. You just have to keep buying so that we run out of everything else. Anything else?
No.
We've got new chunkies in. We've got a nice Aran. The lady ordered some Aran in a yellow. So she wants half 8. So there's 2 balls of Aran in a nice daffodil yellow. Somebody looking for daffodils? There's only 2 balls of that. I can't think of anything else to tell you. I'm back again tomorrow with a journal cover. So I think I better go home and practice that and work out what I'm going to say. I'll put all the links up for you. And I'll see you tomorrow.